fish. Heavy fish. It's close to, he was jumping. Got him on a Rapala. Hard to control him on this side of the kayak. Oh, he's beautiful. Nice big fish. Woo! So there's the lure, nothing special, just your standard small silver and black, you know, shad pattern Rapala. A floater, not a sinker. And I was trolling right at 2.4 miles an hour with that Rapala, about 4 to 5 feet deep max, I would say. So here's a look at that rainbow. That's another impressive fish here from Collins Lake. Big planter rainbow, that's what you come here for. That one there is about 3 pounds. The first one I figured between 4 and 5 pounds, probably about 5 pounds. So that's some very chunky trout to take home. That is just a dandy fish. A lot of surface activity through this area. They're feeding on some kind of insect, don't know what it is. I was pulling spoons, that wasn't working. I switched over to that small Rapala. Been trolling it for about a half an hour, and got that guy there. That was a very energetic fish. He put up a great fight, jumped several times. He was into the other line for a second, that came off. So that was pretty darn exciting. Let me get this guy in the cooler and we will get back to trolling here. I'm up in the Narrows, right below the power lines. This is a place known for producing nice trout, and it paid off today.
FishHuntShoot.com offers a variety of tackle as well as rods and reels designed to get you on more and bigger fish. Check it out today at FishHuntShoot.com.
Howdy folks, Kel Kellogg here. It is time to talk about our 5th and final topographical feature for trout anglers to explore and exploit, you know, depending on the conditions on any given day. I'm talking about Narrows, and let me break out my handheld here. This is a secondary tributary up at Sugar Pine Reservoir. The main tributary is Shirttail Creek. This is Forbes Creek, and this is a very unique area. It's kind of a deep slough. Right now I'm in 35 feet of water. I've got 50 feet of water behind me, and right over here I've got about 40 feet of water. But what you see up ahead of us there is that the lake very abruptly bottlenecks down. Let me kind of speed up here a little bit, kind of take us up in here. Obviously, any fish that cruise up into this area, they're gonna find that shoreline, and they're gonna make a turn, and they're gonna continue up into this area because there's current here, there's a temperature change here. But for both trollers and bank anglers, now if I'm trolling this, I like to troll up in tight to that shore, and I make a big turn here right in the mouth, right where it starts to narrow. Now, if I find fish here on the troll, if I hit fish here on that turn, what I like to do is pull in the trolling gear. I like to position myself right about here, and I like to start fan casting into the Narrows. Now, if you're bank fishing, you want to get right up here. I've done a lot of fishing on both sides here. I've done a lot of fishing off that bank right there. There's a trail right above the lake there, and the trail goes around. There's a bridge up here, and it goes around that shore too. And I've done a fair amount of fishing up there. I don't know how well it shows up on that camera. There's kind of a yellow bush up there. But this area right here, any fish that were cruising in the deep water out behind us, you know, it's still 25 feet deep right here. They cruise up in here, they concentrate, and this is one of the first areas where I really started to experiment with slip bobbers. You know, 20 years ago, I'd get up in here, I'd cast up the lake, and I'd kind of let that slip bobber drift out of here, and I caught a lot of bass here, I caught a lot of trout here. we're still in 25 feet of water here. So you can just see that this type of narrow, especially when it has good depth like this, it just serves to concentrate the fish. And anytime, you know, you've got concentrated fish, they're easier to catch. You know, you just have more fish per square yard than you do out in open water. And whenever they're concentrated, you have a much better chance of tempting them. Now, I'm way up in here. You can see how narrow it's getting in here. And I'm still in 15 feet of water. Now, my one bank fishing spot was right there. I did very well at that one. But this is my other spot right here. And let's see how deep it is right here. I'm still in 13 feet of water. So those fish would kind of come up in here. I think they would come up in here. Some of them would just mill around and stay. I think other times they would come up in here and turn and cruise back out. But the bottom line is, anytime you have a narrow or a bottleneck, that is a potential hot spot. Places like this, they concentrate the fish. And, you know, points concentrate fish to some extent, too. If you picture a fish, you know, he's cruising along the bank. There's a point out there. The back corner of that point and the tip of the point, those are major concentration zones, too. But a deep slough like this, it kind of goes back in here. It maintains a good amount of depth, so the fish feels safe, but the bank is closing in on them. It just concentrates them, and it can be a real hot spot. This has been a hot spot for me. There's a big giant tree in here. That was never in here before. That must have floated down this past winter. But anyway, in closing, just remember, narrows are hot spots, particularly narrows that have a good amount of depth. Fish get in there, they stack up, and it makes them, you know, much more vulnerable to anglers. A narrow spot like this can be tough to troll. It's good to fan cast if you're in a boat. Another trick you can do in a spot like this is you know, take yourself all the way up in here. Particularly, this works great in a kayak. I still got 9 feet of water. And one of the tricky ways to work an area like this, or the back of a cove, you know, is just kind of stealth your way up in here like this. I'm still in 6-7 feet of water. And get your rod ready like this. So I got this cripple lure on a spinning rod. It looks like I got some kind of bush up ahead of me here. But I'm still, right now, I'm in 6 feet of water. Get up in here. Start making your turn. Here we go. It's getting shallower now. It's about 5 feet deep. Now we are headed towards open water. Get the boat going. Toss that spoon out. Initially, you don't want to have a bunch of line out because I know it's 4 feet deep up there. I don't want to give it a chance to sink. And then just start trolling your way out. And as you get into deeper water, let more line out. And that's just a tricky way to troll these very, very narrow areas, you know, the backs of coves and so forth, especially if you're in a small craft like a kayak or a small boat or whatever. Anyway, the bottom line is, narrows like these, they concentrate fish, and whenever the fish are concentrated, you have a much better chance of hooking them. So look to the narrows. Probably my number one favorite spot is the transition zone type of spot, but my number two favorite spot is any kind of narrows like this, just because I know the fish are concentrated, and whenever they're concentrated, I have an edge. So anyway, that's all I got to say. I've been rambling on here for a while. I'm Kel Kellogg. I'm signing off.